Hi, and welcome to Exploring Hobbies. My name is Randy Nunez, and today's hobby we're going to talk about is yo-yoing. And to talk about yo-yoing is my friend Jake Maloney. Hi Jake.
Hi, great to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too.
Glad to be here.
So, how did you get started in yo-yoing?
So, when I was in third grade, we had turn off the TV week at my elementary school. And that was in the late 90s, so 99 or 98, 99. And at about that time, there was a big yo-yo boom. Every kid had a yo-yo, and naturally, it was turn off the TV week, like I mentioned. And it was just one of those things. I picked up a yo-yo, and I loved it. I saw some kids doing it on the playground. I went to my mom and said, "Mom, I really need a yo-yo. I really need a $12 yo-yo." That was what I said, and she said, "$12. I'm going to buy you a $3 Duncan butterfly." And to this day, she says it's the best $3 she ever spent. And I kept going from there, and I've been loving it ever since.
Okay, so how many different types of yo-yos are available now?
Well, there's actually a few different kinds. There's a lot of different shapes and sizes, but the two main shapes of yo-yos are the Imperial style, which is like the Duncan Hornet here. It's got the rounded edges, as you can see, and it's better for what's called looping tricks. Then there's also the butterfly style, which you can see is a lot wider. That's good for what's called string tricks. So like On The Flying Trapeze we were talking about earlier, and some other string tricks like that.
Okay, so there's really two basic
kinds. But again, there's all different weights, different widths of yo-yos. Like as you can see here, this one's much wider. This is actually what's called an off-string yo-yo. That's a different style of yo-yoing. But you can have them really wide, or you can have them really thin, and you can even have like aluminum yo-yos or plastic, or I have a rubber yo-yo. I didn't bring it. Oh, yes, I did. Here we go. It's got rubber sides on it. So there's all different types of materials, but two very basic shapes, Imperial and Butterfly.
So how do these materials affect the way a yo-yo operates? Is there a certain type of material? Is it personal preference?
Well, okay, so there's 5 different styles of yo-yoing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Next question. How many different styles of yo-yoing?
There's 5 different styles of yo-yoing. And for some styles, like for example 1A or 3A or 5A, people generally prefer the aluminum yo-yos.
You gave me numbers and letters. What do those mean?
I'll show you. Okay. 1A is just the regular style of yo-yoing. So like the Man on the Flying Trapeze or the tricks I was showing you earlier.
So just kind of basic, very basic tricks.
But they get a lot harder as you go on and you get better. Then there's 2A, which is actually 2 looping yo-yos.
Okay.
And then 3A is 2 spinning yo-yos. So you do a lot of the tricks that I was showing you earlier, but with 2 yo-yos, and you do both hands. Then 4A is actually called off-string yo-yoing, which is one of my favorites to watch. The yo-yo is actually not going to be attached to the string.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then I don't know if you've noticed, this is 5A, where the yo-yo is actually going to be attached to a counterweight at the end.
Okay.
So it's not attached to my hand. So you have not attached to the hand, not attached to the string.
How long have these styles been around? Or some of these?
Well, 1A and 2A has been around since the beginning of yo-yoing. 3A, 4A, 5A have just started coming out since probably late 90s, early 2000s. So people haven't been doing it that long, but it doesn't mean that there's not really cool tricks. There's still a lot of really awesome stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So are there clubs for people who like to yo-yo? And if there are, what do these clubs do?
There is. Actually, in Livonia, we meet at Laurel Park Mall Thursday nights from 6 to about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
And what's the name of the club?
It's called the Plymouth Yo-Yo Club, because in the summertime, we used to meet in downtown Plymouth at Kellogg Park. But since it's gotten cold, we have to move it into an indoor location. So, downtown Plymouth Yo-Yo Club. and there's actually a Facebook page for it.
So what do you do at the clubs?
We teach tricks. There's probably 7 to 10 of us that come every week, and we just we teach each other tricks. We talk about yo-yos. Normally there's always a few kids who are interested, and we have yo-yos that we can show them how to yo-yo, and so we do all those kinds of things.
So you're welcoming people who've never used a yo-yo,
absolutely.
all the way to people who might be perfecting it.
Come one, come all. Yes, we accept everybody there.
So when I was growing up, when I was younger, this is around the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. Maybe there was a yo-yo boom at that point in time because there were Duncan yo-yos everywhere. Every kid had one. We had contests at school and things like that.
Sure.
But that's a far cry from the 90s. And as you've shown the yo-yos, there are different models and styles. Over the years, how has yo-yoing changed?
Well, it's really interesting. Normally, the way it was described to me from an older guy is, we used to play with the yo-yo, not the string. So it is kind of true in a way, because there's a lot more intricate string movements, and the yo-yos actually have ball bearings in them.
Oh, really?
So they actually spin a lot longer. I mean, the world record for the longest sleeper in the early 90s was like a minute.
And a sleeper is when the yo-yo stops at the end of the string.
Right, and when it's actually just spinning like this. So my longest spinner has been about 8 minutes. But I mean, like I was saying, now the world record's about 30.
30 minutes?
30 minutes. Yeah.
And what was the record way back when, before the?
I think the longest up to about 95 was, I think, 45 seconds.
Wow.
So it's come a long way.
A long way.
It's come a long way.
Like a lot of things, even as something as simple as a yo-yo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Technologies have.
And I mean, these are all machined, and so they're all perfect. They don't wobble or anything like that, so it makes them really.
This is not your father's.
No, no, not your father's. Yeah.
So, how much does all this cost? What kind of costs are associated other than obviously the yo-yo and the
Well,
string?
they do get expensive. Okay. But to start off, you can even buy one of these. This is called a Duncan Pro Z. These ones are actually I think last I looked at Toys R Us, they were $7. And you can do all the tricks that I'm doing, that I'm going to show you here in a little bit with this yo-yo. But you can buy yo-yos anywhere up to even $400.
Wow.
Yeah. The Duncan Freehand MG is like $400 to $450.
Where are most yo-yos priced at if you wanted to use it for a hobby?
For a hobby, I'd say anywhere from $15 to $20 is a really, really good, solid yo-yo.
It might break the record for being the least expensive hobby. Right. I've never heard a hobby costing that little.
Well, I mean, it's like anything else. Like if you want to be a good golfer, I mean, you got to buy the best driver and the best putter and all those things. It's the same with yo-yoing or anything else. You want to spend a little bit of money, but it is fairly inexpensive compared to those other ones.
So where do you find yo-yos, and are these yo-yos the same ones you would find in a toy store or some other type of
There
store?
are a few. Most of these you have to buy online. But like I was saying, Toys R Us actually has a pretty good selection of yo-yos. There's actually a really great store in downtown Plymouth called Genuine Toy on Forest Ave, I think. And they actually have a really good selection of things. But generally online, yoyoexpert.com, yotricks.com are great sites to buy yo-yos. But yeah, a lot of the newer, more expensive, higher end ones you find them online.
Okay. And are more adults starting to? Is this a hobby where if you're hooked on a child and you're hooked through your youth, you're probably hooked in as an adult?
There's a lot of people who've been doing it a long time. Generally, in the competitive yo-yoing scene, there's a lot of I would say like middle school, early high school. Mm-hmm. So like maybe 4th, 5th grade up to senior in high school. That's generally the competitive yo-yoing. But when you get out into like professional, non-competitive yo-yoing, so like going to schools and birthday parties and anything. Those guys are generally between 20 and up.
Okay. Well, that's a good question, because one of my questions was going to be, as with some hobbies, you can turn those into profession. Can people make a living in yo-yoing?
You can, but it's good to have other options.
All right. So give me some examples of how someone would make a living.
Sure. Well, like I have a friend in Minnesota by the name of Dazzling Dave. He actually goes around the Midwest and actually travels. He does a lot of school shows, a lot of fairs. It's the same thing I do too. I mean, I've done everything. I've actually yo-yoed at like bat mitzvahs. I've done first communions. I've done.
So as an entertainer, something like a clown or magician.
Sure.
People can make a living being a professional yo-yo.
You can. Like I've actually been doing it now as I'm a student at Central Michigan University, but to supplement my my rent and my my classes, I've been traveling around the state and really around the country doing yo-yo tricks. I have a 30-minute spiel that I do at schools, and I talk about practice and finding what you love to do in life and just going for it, no matter what anybody says.
So, other than being an entertainer, are there other ways to make a living?
No. There are some contests where you can get paid, but it's not enough to.
It's not quite like golf.
No, not quite like golf or anything like that.
Okay. So we talked about some of these yo-yos that you brought with us. And so if people want to get more information about how to learn how to yo-yo, what kind of yo-yos there are, give me some idea of how they can get more.
Absolutely. www.yojake.com is my website.
Okay.
If you guys are interested.
Yo-jake, so it's Y-O-J-A-K-E?
Yep, YOJAKE.com.
Right.
On there I have tricks. I have my contact information. If you guys have any questions about yo-yoing, just feel free to contact me. I have information on my shows. I have links to other sites where you can buy yo-yos. And like I said, I have tricks on there. So that's a really good site to start with. Also, one of my friends runs yotricks.com, YOTRICKS.com, and they actually sell yo-yos there and have a lot of really great tricks. So those would be the two places I would start.
Are there sites that explain what kind of clubs might be in different areas? Is there like a national yo-yo?
There is. There's actually a National Yo-Yo League website. I'm not actually. It talks about the regions for different contests. There's, I think, 7 regionals, and it does give information about yo-yo contests and some clubs, not very many.
So it's more of the contest site. There's not really a National Yo-Yo Association and chapters and any of that. It's more local.
It's a local thing,
grassroots type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, so but there's a national championship, and we actually run the regional contest here in Michigan, down in downtown Plymouth. But yeah, they actually, the winners of those contests actually get seeds into the national championship. So there is a regional thing, but not. It's very well organized, but it's there isn't really much information out there on clubs and stuff.
So as far as competition or contest, how does that work? Do you have one national organization, and then there are local contests?
Yes. Yeah. There's some states have contests, so you have state contests, you have regional contests, and then you have the national championship and the world championships. We haven't had a state championship in Michigan here for the past couple of years, but we've been working to get that done. And then the regional contests, it's really fun. Nowadays, what you do is you have to do what's called a freestyle. There's generally a 1-minute preliminary freestyle, and the judges judge you on how hard your tricks are, how many tricks you do, your showmanship, just things like that.
So is the judging sort of like diving judges?
Yes, it's exactly like that.
You have certain point systems that say for originality, for speed, for, like you were saying, those attributes, and then they sort of pull together, and all the judges, and each person gets a score, and the highest scores keep moving up?
Pretty much, yeah. It's very subjective. It's like figure skating or gymnastics or like diving, like you were saying. And the highest scores move on, and they go on to a 2-minute freestyle round. And the freestyle round is judged on a lot of the same qualities, but it's just a longer routine and there's more tricks.
Do they just have freestyles, or do they have some other ones that say you're looping content?
Well, actually, it's funny. When I started yo-yoing, it was a lot different than what it is now. When I started, there were 10 compulsory tricks you had to do.
Okay.
So, like, for example, you had to do like a man on the flying trapeze, and then like a brain twister. And so there were 10 of those tricks, and you would get 5 points on the first try, 3 points on the second try. And if you didn't get it in the second try, you didn't get any points. So you'd have to get, in order to move up into a contest, it'd be like top 15, and generally it would be anywhere between 40 and 50. It would get you into the next round, which would be a 3-minute freestyle. So it was a little bit. I think it was a little bit harder when I was.
But it's all now really freestyle.
It's all freestyle. They decided that they don't really care about a well-rounded yo-yoer. They like the best freestyler.
And then what do you win when you get to the end?
There are some contests that, like our contest gives away yo-yos. Like a lot of the sponsors are really great. They send us a lot of yo-yos, not much cash. There are some contests where you get cash prizes, and other contests that you get trophies and stuff. So. It's a fun hobby.
You're not going to get a scholarship or anything?
No, I wish. That'd be something else.
Okay. So what makes you so passionate about yo-yoing? What makes the other people who are in clubs or who enter these contests so passionate about yo-yoing? Because as an adult looking at it, it looks like just kind of a child's activity, not something adults would be doing.
I think that's what it is, though. I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's a little bit of a release from reality. And there's so much stuff you can do with a yo-yo. The tricks are pretty much endless. I mean, there's new videos coming out every day about learning new tricks, and it's just a nice break from reality. You can take it in your pocket, you can take it anywhere you want, and you can just yo-yo and just kind of forget about everything for a little while.
Well, I think it's like a lot of hobbies that people talk about it being relaxing, but most hobbies require an immense amount of concentration, but you're focusing on the hobby, not on other things.
Right.
So I guess it is kind of relaxing in that you're focusing on a level of competency that you enjoy.
I mean, and for me, like I've been doing this for 15 years, so I've developed like a muscle memory. So I can yo-yo and I can talk to you. Like, I mean, I don't even have to really think about it that much. I mean, when I was really competitive into it, like sure, there's a routine you have to do, and you have to hit all the tricks that you want to hit. But as far as what I do now, like it's just relaxing. It's just fun.
Are there certain types of people who are more interested in yo-yoing than not, or is it really all walks of life?
It's really all walks of life. There's people like me who who have been competitive for a long time and then just kind of got into school and real life hit.
Oh, okay.
And just haven't been able to practice as much. And then there's the really competitive people who are just crazy about doing well in contests. And then there's people who just, there's a lot of people who are, I want to say like mechanically driven about it. Like they like the modification of yo-yos, making things better. And then there's really all kinds under the sun who yo-yo.
All right. So we've talked about some yo-yos and we've talked about some tricks. Let's have you show us some tricks.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
So now we're going to actually see some tricks in action. Jake's going to show us some really interesting things, but let's start with the real basics.
Sure. One of the tricks that people always ask me to do, no matter what, is walk the dog. Walk the dog, you're going to start with a strong sleeper, which looks like that. And what you're going to do is you're just going to sit on the ground, let it walk a little ways, give it a tug back. That is walk the dog. Whoops, daisy. Okay. So another trick people often ask me to do, rock the baby. This is another really good one. So you throw a nice strong sleeper. You're going to hold your hand in a high position, pull the string back, open it up, and rock it through the center. So that's rock the baby. One more time. Pull through, rock the baby. Now we move on to a little bit more advanced tricks. This one, Randy was telling me that he learned how to do earlier, was man on the flying trapeze. So what we're going to do here is we're going to imagine that this is a doorknob. We're going to kind of hold it like that, and we're actually going to throw a sleeper to the side of our body, but we're going to let it swing across, and we're actually going to catch it on the string just like this. So that's the man on the flying trapeze. And this trick is a building block for a lot of other tricks that we're going to show later.
Going from rock the baby to man on the flying trapeze, is that like a jump?
It's a pretty big. It's a pretty big leap.
Okay.
But it's about what people do nowadays, though. So another really popular trick, the brain twister. You're going to throw it down. Actually, yeah, we're going to throw it down, and we're going to do what's called an elevator, which is actually the trick that got me interested in yo-yoing. Going to bring it up, and we're going to go underneath the yo-yo like this, and we're going to actually push into the two strings, flip it over, and then dismount. So again, throw down, you're going to put your other hand in the string, you're going to make the yo-yo go up by pulling your yo hand down. You're going to go around the bottom, and then you're going to push into the string, flip over, and dismount. And then bring it back to your hand. And now what's cool about this trick is you can actually do multiple flips too. Now people often ask me, what is my favorite trick? My favorite trick happens to be a trick called Boingy Boingy.
Boingy Boingy.
Boingy Boingy, that's right.
Can you spell that?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into what's called a split bottom mount. So we're going to have our right hand out here, left hand down here, or right hand down there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull up and down so that it bounces back and forth. And we're going to go back to the hand. So that's Boingy Boingy. Another really fun one. This one's called the Mach 5. People really, really like this one. Back. Now, what's really cool about yo-yoing is you can actually make up your own tricks. You get two of my favorite parts about yo-yoing, actually, getting to meet new people from other countries and getting to make up your own tricks. This is one that I made up. It's called the Raptor. Looks like this. So as you can see, I'm doing the trapeze movement before, but I'm just doing a lot more. And I'm doing a little rock the baby there. And I'm going back to the hand. So that's the Raptor. That's actually one I made up myself. And through here and around 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 and around. And back to the hand.
So how long does it take you to learn some of these tricks?
I've been yo-yoing for about 15 years. And really the start of it was really slow. I'd say it probably took me 6 months to learn trapeze. But as soon as I've gotten better at it, it takes me a lot less time to learn tricks now that I've been doing it a long time. But to get really good, I was doing it for about 5 or 6 years, and that was when I was world ranked.
So you're going to try to teach me a trick?
Yes, actually, we're gonna try to teach you the trick that I showed before, rock the baby.
Rock the baby.
Rock the baby. Okay. So actually, to practice this trick, what we can do is we can actually have the yo-yo stopped at the bottom of the string. So just kind of drop it. And what we can do is we're going to hold our hand like this. We're actually going to pull the string back. And we're going to open it up and rock it through the center. Just like that. That's good. Excellent. All right, so again, let's try it. So here, pull it back, open it up, and rock it through. All right, so let's try it with it spinning.
All right.
Randy's actually pretty good at this. He was holding out on us earlier. He's actually pretty good. All right, so we're going to throw a sleeper, and we're going to rock it. Yep, we're going to pull through, rock it through the center, and pull it back to your hand. Just like that.
Oh, very good.
Wonderful.
So you want to pull it through here?
Yep, and rock it to the
Rock
center.
it.
Just like that.
All right.
He's pretty good.
Okay. Got another one?
Sure, yeah. We're gonna try to do the Man on the Flying Trapeze. You up
Man
for
on
it?
the Flying Trapeze?
You up for it?
We'll give it a shot.
All right. So again, we're gonna hold it out here like this. We're gonna throw a breakaway, and we're gonna catch it on the string, just like that.
Just catch it on the string.
Catch it on the string. Just like that. Oops. Now, kids at home, he just did that on the first try.
Normally it doesn't work like that, huh?
It's not that easy. It's actually a very, very difficult trick. I spent a week just 2 hours a day just trying to land it on the string.
I think I got a little lucky too. Oh, see? I got lucky.
There it is. And pop up and catch.
Oh.
Man on the Flying Trapeze. There you go.
I did yo-yo years ago, and I did learn Man on the Flying Trapeze years ago. But very interesting.
Yeah.
Any other
Sure.
tricks?
We could do, let's do Around the World.
Around the world.
So here's another good one. What we're actually doing is we're actually going to start by throwing a forward pass. Okay. So we're actually going to pretend that we're walking down the street. As soon as your hand gets back here, you're going to throw out and catch. That's the forward pass. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to have it stop on the outside. We're going to have it spin at the bottom. Whoops. And we're actually going to have it go all the way around and catch it out there like that. And catch.
All right.
And catch. All right.
Well,
Oh, that was good. That was close. We're in kind of a smaller room here, so we don't want to hit any of the production equipment. It's like that.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah, he is a fast learner. I'll tell you what. Okay, so let's do a loop. Yeah, just like that. You're gonna, so for those of you at home, what we're going to do is we're actually going to throw a forward pass, but we don't catch it, and it's actually going to loop on the inside of your wrist. So it'll be just like that. Oh, there you go.
All right.
Okay. And now how about let's do the creeper. You were thinking about that earlier. So what we're gonna do is it's like a walk the dog out on the floor and pull back.
Oh! Make it back.
Oops, there goes your microphone.
All right. Why don't you show us what you think is one of the harder tricks
Sure.
that you do?
Absolutely. Now, what's interesting about a lot of these tricks is a lot of them don't have names. People make up these combinations of tricks. So I'm just going to call it the Randy Nunez. There you go. I got a trick named after you. And then around the shoulder. And around. And around some more. And back to the hand. There's one called Seasick. Back to the hand. And rock it through and back.
Wow.
Lots of practice.
Lots of intricate string work.
15 years no social life. What can I say?
All right. Well, that's about all the time we have for our show. We'd like to thank Jake for showing us all the different yo-yo tricks. Please stay tuned for our upcoming episodes of Exploring Hobbies.